And then we will kick it over to Holly Welch. Holly has been an attendee at Midday Connect many times and shared in the breakout rooms and in the Q&A, and we're happy to have her as our presenter today. Now it's you who's muted, Holly. You you got it.
There we go. Sorry about that. Um, okay, I am Holly Welch. Today, I'll show you where to advertise for free and more importantly, how to write messages your customers can't ignore. Let's dive in. Maybe. These platforms give you massive reach for $0. But just posting isn't enough. Most free ads sound like we offer great solutions. They're vague, forgettable, and they have no emotional connection. Let me show you a framework that works. There's 5 steps. One, pick one specific person that your ads will are speaking to. Um, Two, name their pain in the words they actually use. I found that this is very hard for especially people that are in like medical, me- doing things in the medical world because they just think in their terms and not necessarily in the terms of the people that will be using their product or service. Um, Three, promise a clear outcome. What changes in their life with what you are selling? Four, handle objections before they come up, like proof and credibility. That's a big thing. And five, tell them what to do next and a clear call to action. So let me show you how this works. I used a SaaS company as an example because it seems that I've been on these quite a few Midday Connects, and a lot of people are software developers. So let's use that. So the bad version, it who is it for? What does it solve? It's very vague. The good version speaks directly to an overwhelmed founder's frustration, offers a clear outcome, and tells them what to do. It sounds like it came from a customer's complaint. That's the point. Another health and medical, which I found that this actually works with anything, but I figured this would help. So the feel better, it's how and for whom. The good version nails one specific moment, 3 p.m. exhaustion. It promises real outcomes and keeps the call to action professional. You just made a product sound irresistible without overpromising. This works for any vertical, B2B, B2C, or B2G. You now have the framework, but doing this consistently across multiple platforms, testing variations, and turning visibility into sales takes real bandwidth. That's what we do at Holly Welch Marketing. We write the copy that connects, test and optimize it, and when you're ready, we scale with paid ads built on what's already working. You get expert execution, custom strategy, proven frameworks applied at scale, and real accountability, leads and sales, not just links. If you're ready to elevate your brand, we're ready to make it happen. We're Holly Welch Marketing. Let's tell your story. So here's your homework. Pick one platform, write one ad using the framework. post it and see what happens. Then visit hollywelchmarketing.com and let's talk about taking it further. What are your questions?
Let's do a couple questions, and then I'd love to have someone volunteer themselves as tribute to run through this. Actually, think of your business, your customer, the problem, and put it in their words. But let's start with that. Who's the brave? If someone's brave, do it. Otherwise, I'm going to volunteer BJ.
I'm happy to.
Let's try. Let's have you be the guinea pig, BJ. Heidi
BJ,
or
what do you
Holly,
do?
can you pull up your framework there again? I think it was
Yeah,
like slide 2 or 3.
wait, let me get to you. Hang on.
You're good. This gives time for the next voluntold to be ready. Yeah, yeah. All right, BJ, you want to
Yeah.
tell us what you're doing?
Yeah. So the product I have is called Baxby Posture. It's a posture correction device. It's pretty simple. It's a memory foam cushion that goes on chairs, office chairs, cars. But the method of using it is just as important as the actual design or shape of the product. So, sorry, let me turn my phone here in the correct position to see this slide. Um, so Holly,
You
do you want me to
pitched.
just kind of
Okay,
walk you through the steps? Sure.
so who is, do you find that more men or women use your product?
It's pretty evenly split. It's not really strongly either one or the other.
How about age?
Age is 35 to about let's say 60 is the top end.
Okay, and what are their main complaints?
A lot of it is tension, muscle tension, headaches. You know, pain is one way people might say that, but it really is tension, especially from sitting at computers all day.
And so what does your product do for them?
So Baxby helps them sit in the correct position while sitting. So once they're there, the method of using it helps strengthen them so that they naturally sit up straighter.
Okay, so is it their low back, the lumbar?
Nope, this is thoracic spine. So upper back, neck.
Okay. So looking at who buys it, you would say something like, um, does sitting at your desk all day hurt your back? Or are you done with, let's see, working, does working all day in a chair? I mean, everyone sits while they're there and
Mhm.
say, we've got something that will help you. What's the name of your product again?
Baxby, Baxby.
As in boy or P as in Paul?
B is in boy.
Okay, so that's what you would do. So you would define who it is. That's your customer. Look at your customer and pick one person in there. Usually the female, if you look at a female, it will get both the male and the female. Um, and naming their exact pain. Say something that will catch someone's attention. Does your back kill after, not kill, that would be bad, but does your back hurt after 8 hours, or like hour 4, can you not sit anymore? And then promise the Clorox outcome. Baxby will fix it. With Baxby, you don't have back pain. Um, and then do you have a like doctors or what kind of proof do you offer?
Yeah, we've got customer testimonials, input from physical therapists, occupational therapists, and chiropractors.
Okay. So in this case, I'd probably testimonials usually work the best. Someone that's actually felt it and dealt with the pain. And then clear call to action, say you can get it here. I mean, it depends on how you're advertising. If it's online, then, click now for whatever percent off if you want, or something like that. Does that help?
Yeah, totally. And if
Uh,
nothing else, it's good practice to have to do it, in a quick turnaround time. So
Yeah. And yeah, I would love to help with whatever.
awesome.
I'm not vain, but um, whenever I see someone taking a picture of me and then posting it later, I always go, man, I look like I'm like hunched over in this picture.
I
So
I call it the seated position, seated fetal position.
yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Well, yeah, interesting. Okay, Holly, while we're waiting for the next person, can you put your business into the get in their head framework?
Yeah, I would be up to. So, my specific person is our business owners and their exact pain. There's a lot of them. There are many marketing firms out there that give marketing firms a very bad name, and it's hard to trust people with their business that is their baby. And so with me, I would, um, well, I can hang on. I, I would say, um, with Holly Welch Marketing, we make your products irresistible and your services unforgettable. And um, we will create, we'll create, we'll craft the message, get it in front of the right audience, and sell, make you more visible, get more engagements and more sales. If you're ready to elevate your brand, we're ready to make it happen. Holly Welch Marketing, let's tell your story.
Who's brave? Who's another entrepreneur that wants to go through the Holly framework test?
I should have made everything longer.
No, you're good. I like this part of it. The proof and credibility piece, I mean, what do you do if you're just getting started and it's just kind of maybe you don't have that yet? What do you recommend on that? Or anyone, maybe, I mean, Holly, you can answer it. And then if there are others, when you're just getting started, how do you do the proof and credibility?
A lot of times, like with BJ, he has medical professionals that can talk to why it's better. That's the route I would go. If you have actual people that have tried it, obviously testimonials are number one, but the medical is a huge one. But then you would just talk, if you don't have that, like for a SaaS, you would just talk more to how it's going to make their life better and why it'll make their life better. Just building credibility to make them go, that makes sense. That's logical.
Yeah, I was looking at the Baxby site, BJ, and I liked what you did. Like until you have maybe your unpublished studies or white papers or something, you can at least go in and say how much you spent on various things, which I thought was pretty compelling. because I think a lot of people who would be customers of Baxby they've tried lots of things and maybe they've never added it all up like you did. So I found that pretty compelling.
And I have a lot of, I get ads all the time that I'm just like, oh dear, those have a lot of people try to put a lot of information in ads. Like, um, sometimes I get ads that's like a full paragraph. And you just have to realize that getting into people's heads, they they really don't want to read that. They're not going to take the time to read it. You just need to have one clear, um, like saying what their pain is, one clear sentence that says this is getting in their heads, basically. Like, um, with Baxby, you say it's, are you done with back pain? Are you done with sitting all day and not being able to move later or something like that? And then that that is your head. That's what sells.
Um, yeah, awesome. Paul, um, you've recently gone through an iteration on your product, made some adjustments to how you talk about it.
Yep.
Um,
You
why don't
just
you take us
volunteered,
through
Paul. I heard it.
you what?
I heard you volunteer, Paul.
Did you? Happy to, happy to. Do you want me to go through this framework, is it?
Yeah,
Or
go
yep.
for it.
Okay, so one specific person, it would be a tech SaaS company, revenue leaders, SMB to mid-market. That would be the CRO, sales enablement, that type of role. The exact pain would be that they're losing control, or they're getting silently disqualified in between meetings. So either before meetings, after the initial meeting, or late in the stage when another stakeholder has to be pulled into the buying process. A clear outcome would be a 24/7 representative that is in your buyer's pocket that can be relied on to give accurate information at any time it needs to. Objections, credibility would be, we've got customers that have seen their sales cycles being shortened because instead of sharing a generic one pager, they shared their instance of our tool, and we saw other stakeholders in asking questions, and suddenly a conversation that was supposed to take 6 months down the line got pushed up and was in that week, and they actually closed it within the deal in the month. The clear call to action for us is take control of your narrative.
How did you do, Holly?
I think good. I would also say the call to action. Well, the call to action is good. The outcome is increase sales quicker, get more um get more results. But yeah, I think that's a great, I would love to hear more about your product. But yeah, good job.
Thanks very much. Just a quick question, Holly. Just like I know in the very first slide that you put up was different kind of platforms and things that got there. Is there a platform you would recommend to get best traction in terms of, like, we've kind of we're about to experiment with kind of podcasting and different stuff like that to try and sort of become a more authority in the space, and do that on LinkedIn, YouTube, and that's pretty much what we're going to dip our toe into, I suppose. Is there anything that is like a that I'm just blind and I'm not seeing a platform that could change like or visibility.
Are you doing Google Ads?
We kind of are. We're doing targeted ads. So we've got software to turn retargeting into initial targeting because we know the people we wanna talk to. So we're kind of cooking them ahead of time in a very creepy way that everybody has signed up for in this world.
Yeah.
So they're already getting ads, and then we're backing that up with email and phone campaigns, mostly email actually, because the product's not really built for profitable outbound.
What I would recommend is Google Ads, and here's why. You get, well, number one, you're paying for leads, but number two, what is the first thing you do when you're looking for someone? You Google search it. You Google search. I mean, I do. I know we're all on AI now, and we take that into consideration when we do the ads. And they do show up pretty much everywhere. But those searches, that's where you've got to start. And like, yeah, there's keywords that you put in there, like shorten the sales process. And those
The, the
those
only
kind of
the only sorry, the only problem I would have with that, Holly, is that we are in a market with some Goliaths like
yeah,
Salesforce and all those guys who, even if we're not competing with them, they've keyworded the hell out of everything. So,
yeah.
to
It's
try and
like
get in there is
option.
extremely expensive.
Well, and then you're doing good things with getting your site up there with all of your other things, that SEO, it sounds like. Um, I would maybe get a little bit more, like just think a little bit more on the keywords. But there, Google business profiles, those are good, but those are more local. I mean, what you're doing is pretty good. Did you say you're using social media at all?
LinkedIn, but the
Sometimes,
co-founder's trying to get TikTok, but I'm dead set against that because I'm too old.
you know what, it doesn't fit your audience, so that's okay. There are other places you could do it, like YouTube. I would absolutely do you do videos?
We're going to start doing the podcast where it's a fireside chat more than a podcast where we'll post it on LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live and do that at a regular basis, but we haven't kicked that off yet.
Um, I Podcasts are great, but you're also having to be advertising to get people to the podcast. And so that's hard.
Hmm.
I mean, I think what you're doing with your retargeting is going to help. I would just, um, you can post those videos just everywhere. And so I would. But I know a lot of people our age. I know I do. I look at the YouTube shorts because I refuse to go to TikTok. And um, I know the value of TikTok, just so anyone knows. But I just I don't want to get in the doom scroll and all those things, but I do anyway with YouTube. And I watch the shorts, and I've seen a lot of more people get a little more creative on how to do the videos with that are answering a pain and
Yeah.
getting a call to action in there quickly because they're short and they work. And that's the kind of video I would absolutely do, and which is a little bit longer than a podcast. Excuse me,
Mhm.
shorter.
Yeah.
So I would think about that and think about being unique in that what is going to make someone go, oh, this is a boring ad, and you don't want that. You want them to go and think about that, and sell it quickly because that's no one sticks around ever videos if it's boring.
Yeah. Now, we had a lot of fun with our previous branding, but we've grown up and we're a little bit corporate boring now. So I'm a little bit sad about that. We can't get the factor anymore as well as we could before.
Yeah, and you have to just be creative with how you edit it, and that's something that we do, and we can help with it. But you just need to always keep that specific person that you're talking to in mind, so that you you're entertaining them and getting them to pay attention, and that it's tricky.
We've got time maybe for one more. So we need a brave soul to put themselves through the framework.
Did what I Are these a surprise that where to advertise for free? Is there a lot of people with the Facebook, they don't realize that Marketplace is a great place to post things you're selling, and it's free. And you can just talk about it where Facebook gets a lot of traction, especially with older demographics. The younger demographics really aren't there, but the older demographics, like with Baxby, that's where I would be because they look at the grandchildren. They're always that is how they see the outside world. And so I would absolutely use that, the marketplace, as well as there's a lot of groups that like you can connect with people in wherever you live and things like that. Another new one, and I don't know if I'm sure global, is Nextdoor. I don't know if, yeah, I did put that on. Um, it- I don't know how many of you use that, but I got on that to just see if there were like burglaries in my neighborhood. But I learned that it's a much broader look at next door. I mean, I see posts for people 20 miles away, 25 miles, that kind of thing, but it still um, is a little smaller of a group than Facebook, and a little more of a family feel, I guess. So I would use that. It's free. And I mean, the videos are great if you can make them. The great thing about our day and age is everyone makes them themselves. You don't have to, in fact, if you get like a big, um, like pay lots of money to have it done professionally, it turns people off. So you might as well just hold your phone and get it done. Just make sure you wipe off that camera because, oh my gosh, I've seen so many videos that are like fuzzy because people didn't wipe off the camera. So just remember to do that.
Awesome. Uh, Best way for people to connect with you. Can you go to your connect slide just as we part ways here?
HollyWelchMarketing.com. You can book a meeting through there, and I'd be happy to talk to anyone and just walk you through it even. I'd be happy to give you more ideas based on your industry, what you're trying to sell, who you're trying to sell to.
Awesome. Thanks, Holly, for walking us through this. Great way of thinking about keeping our customers, first and foremost in mind and putting our messaging in their words, which I think is amazing. So thanks for coming in and sharing this with us today. Thanks everyone for coming out to the Midday Connect. We're here every Tuesday at the same time. It's 11 a.m. Mountain Time where I'm at. And thanks to Hannah for keeping us organized. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks.